Today's video will not have an epic intro or fancy b-roll throughout the video because I'm doing a different type of video today, a sit down and talk type of video where I talk and discuss with you a topic that is interesting for me, and I recently got asked and I couldn't really give an exact answer. The question I was asked was, what is your perfect drone? And as we all know, we live in a world where there are no perfect products, and in tech and in drones, but in tech in general, we are quite unrealistic in our goals and our desires to get that perfect product with all of these features that could be very, very hard to be implemented in a single product without any big sacrifices. But that doesn't mean we cannot dream, right? So in today's video, I'm going to share at least my personal features of the perfect drone for my needs. And I would be very happy if I can see yours down in the comment section below. I think it would make for a great discussion and could be beneficial if some companies are watching my videos. They can take notes and see what consumers really care about, because I was really surprised when I recently saw a poll and many people actually voted in that poll, and they said that for them the most important feature of a drone is, for example, the flight time. I would have never guessed that's the number one thing people care about the most, because for me it's not that important, but obviously for many other people it is a very important feature. So let me know what are your perfect features in a drone down below, and I would love to make an interesting discussion in the comments. But I'm starting out with my personal number one, and that is of course the camera. This is a video that strictly focuses on camera drones, because if we focus on FPV as well, it gets really, really hard to combine all the information, all the features, all the things that I could say, and it would be a topic for another video. So the camera is the number one feature that I'm always focused on, and for me, when it comes to the perfect camera setup, it has to be something simple. But when I say the word simple, I do not mean like simple features. I mean usability as the number one thing, because I don't want to have a drone with interchangeable lenses. For example, I prefer to have a setup that has everything on board, ready to go, ready to be used, so you don't miss out and not be able to record the moment as it happens. There's so many occasions in which there is a perfect feature that could be beneficial for that specific scenario, but by the time you set it up and you're ready to go, you've already missed the moment and it's too late. So for me, it would be very beneficial to have a setup that focuses on usability as the number one thing. So a camera setup that maybe has, let's say, 3 lenses with different focal lengths, so you can combine that, interchangeable lenses and avoid that and just combine it into one camera. That would be great, so you can easily swap between those lenses and achieve that different look that the drone can give you. That would be a great start for me. The resolution could be something along the lines of 5K or 6K. Nowadays 4K is not really the standard. It's something more than that, so you can crop in a little bit more and not lose any detail. If, let's say, 6K is the standard, I would be very happy. Not that I'm not happy with 5K, but it's better to have a little bit more redundancy in case you need to really crop in a little bit more. That gives you a little bit more playroom to zoom in, zoom out, play a little bit more with rotation, add a little bit more depth to your shot by, adjusting those values every now and then if you need to. So maybe 6K would be the standard resolution that I would be very happy with. And when it comes to frame rates, nowadays it's normal to see 4K 120 frames per second. I would be happy to see 4K 240 frames per second. That would be amazing to have that buttery looking footage. It's so hard to say that word sometimes, but yeah, you get what I mean. Buttery smooth footage in 240 frames per second. That would be ideal. Still, on the topic of camera capabilities, I would be very happy to have 12-bit log footage in that specific drone, so I can really push the colors as much as I want and not really be worried about breaking the colors, breaking the image. And yeah, just have that freedom if I need to. But nowadays, even the normal color profiles on drones that we see, the newer ones, is still great. I just prefer to have very strong lock capabilities so I can feel confident in the post-processing stage. Now, when we talk about flight time, like I said earlier, this is not a topic that is bothering me too much as of right now, because we are seeing some drones that already have 45 and plus minutes of flight time. So there really isn't anything that will make me go crazy about a flight time. Maybe if it's 60 minutes and more than that, that would be great, but it's not mandatory to have such a big battery life. But I must admit that if we have a flight time of more than 1 hour with just one battery, in most scenarios you can get away with just one battery, so you will be covered anywhere you go, because for 60 minutes of flight time, if you know what you're doing, you can gather so much usable footage out of this flight that you probably won't need a second battery. Obviously, the drone has to be lightweight and portable, preferably very compact and foldable, so you can take it with you anywhere you go. Again, like I said, the perfect drone is the one that can be with you so you don't miss the moment. So if it's a big heavy drone, hard to set up with those big propellers and not really easy to carry around with you, then you probably won't take it with you in most situations. And that's the case for me. I've been in so many situations where I've missed out on some great potential shots because I just didn't have my drone with me. So portability is key, and I would prefer to have a small drone, probably not the size of Mini 3 or Mini 3 Pro. Something a little bit bigger would be, more ideal for me, as these smaller drones, they are great, they are super portable, but they are not the best when it comes to flying in stronger winds, which is the next point, and that is to have confidence in your drone. Because let's be honest, those bigger drones, they are a lot better in terms of coping with strong winds than the smaller models like Mavic Mini 3 and all sorts of other smaller drones. So that confidence in the drone is something that is also important for me. And I remember a case where I flew my Mavic 2 Pro in, I would say, what was close to hurricane winds, and the footage was just rock solid. It would be impossible for you to say that it was taken in a windy day, because it was just rock solid footage, very smooth. The drone was like this for most of the time. It was like having a very hard time staying level, but the footage was just perfect. And I had confidence in that drone that it will be able to cope with those winds. So this is also like a good balance between weight, portability, and smaller form factor, but not too small, so it can still be good in the air even at those higher altitudes. The next thing I would love to see in the perfect drone is to be 100% waterproof. And by that, I don't mean that I would like to turn on the drone and just throw it in the pool and record with it. No, that's not what I mean. But in some scenarios, I would really love to be able to shoot in like strong rain, heavy rain, or in case there is a big snowfall and you want to capture the snow as it falls down, and those big snowflakes when it's really strong. That could be great to have, and not worry about potentially damaging your motors in case some water drops fall into the motors and they burn. I would love to have that, and I know some people would counter me right away by saying, yes, but you will see those raindrops on the front lens of your camera. And again, that's in a perfect world. I would love to have a water repellent coating on the lens. That would be great, so it doesn't stay on the lens, so it just drips away from the lens. And we've seen that on the newer GoPros. They have that coating on their lens cover, so I know it's possible to have that. And it will be great to be confident in the drone even when it's raining heavily and you want to capture that moody environment and that moody feeling, that will be great in some scenarios at least, because for photography, for example, using the water to your advantage could really make some difference, and I would love to have that in the air as well from a different perspective. So I would love to have that on a mainstream consumer drone that we can use in all sorts of scenarios. The next thing is that the drone has to be very, very quiet. Nowadays, drones are getting more and more quiet, so we are going in the right direction when we're talking about sound and noise from the drones. So this really isn't that big of a deal because nowadays we're pretty good already, but it can always get better. And I would love to have a drone that is so inconspicuous that nobody cares about it being in the air. And that's not to be used in the wrong way, but sometimes, you know, it gets too much attention and you don't want that. So having a drone that is super quiet would be even better for me. Now, when we're talking about AI and intelligent flight modes, this is where it gets really interesting, as technology is progressing so quickly and we're seeing some amazing stuff from all sorts of different drone manufacturers being implemented in their products. So I am excited about the possibilities, but it's becoming easier and easier to achieve those amazing shots without doing anything. And even though I'm a fan of the technology, I'm not a huge fan of the drone working instead of me. I prefer to shoot my shots manually, and I prefer to like do my orbits manually. I prefer to do all sorts of movements myself with my hands, so I know I'm the one that is responsible for this shot. Otherwise, it's just too polished and too easy, I would say. So it's not ideal for me to take advantage of all of these modes sometimes, because I know, you know, I don't feel like I took the shot. It's just the drone that took the shot and I was just there observing while the drone was recording, if that makes sense. So I would, you know, I'm excited and I would be interested to see where technology goes, but that's not something that is very high on my list of features that I want to see, because I prefer to, you know, invest in my own flying and not really rely on the drone. But when it comes to tracking, for example, of course, if I want to be tracked by the drone, I would love to have that 100% confidence in the drone, knowing that it can go through obstacles, over them, under them, and, you know, still track me and not crash, because we've seen many scary situations already, but still we've seen a big progress in the recent years of tracking becoming much better. And to be honest, I'm a simple guy. On a camera drone, if the camera is good, then everything else is besides the point, because those are small things that I can compromise with so I can enjoy the final result, which is going to be worth it. But that's just my personal preference. I would really love to hear back from you guys. Just share everything that you feel could be important for you in your perfect drone. I would really love to hear back from you in the comment section below, and hopefully form a nice discussion where we can talk about all the things that matter for us when we talk about the perfect drone. And that's pretty much it, guys. I know it's a different type of video and it probably won't get a lot of views or anything like that, but I really don't care. It's just something that I wanted to put out there, talk to you directly, hopefully get some feedback back from you, and have a nice discussion. That's all. With that being said, guys, I really want to thank you if you're still watching by this time. Drop a like, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one, or most of my regular videos, they are coming as well. And I will see you in the next one very soon.